let's see, when the YouTube is always the slowest to wake up. The YouTube, probably because it's run by a bunch of socialists. That's my guess. Bunch of tech socialists. That's what YouTube is. All right, we're on. We're definitely on. It is happening. Hello, everybody. This is John Bolton. Now that President Trump has been impeached in the House, people are asking, when am I going to talk? Why am I being silent? Well, I'm here to tell you that my list of demands needs to be met. What are my list of demands, you ask? Well, first thing, I want an apology from Donald J. Trump. The dude is a douchebag. The dude, did you hear him last night? He made fun of a dead congressman. The dude is a douche. I don't disagree with him politically on anything. But as a person, total douchebag. I want an apology. I want it hand-delivered. I don't want it via tweet. I want it in person. Next thing I want, a bowl of red M&Ms. That's right. I want the red ones. I don't want the blue ones. Am I some kind of Democrat or something? I want the red M&Ms. And I want a full bowl of them. And I want them hand-delivered, once again, by Donald J. Trump. That's what I want. Next thing I want a stuffed animal of a unicorn. And I want that unicorn to have a really pretty necklace that sparkles and dazzles. Don't judge me. Don't look at me like that. I want it for my niece for the holidays. That's something I'm going to give my niece for the holidays. It's not for me. It's not for me to put above my fireplace. Stop looking at me like that. Stop looking at me like that. Next thing I want is a coupon to issue 12 drone strikes without repercussion. And that is good for whatever administration is in office at any point. Those are my list of demands. Once those list of demands are met, I will speak to limited press in a style of which I will adhere to and will pre-approve of ahead of time. So you want me to talk? That's what it takes. All right. Now back to Get Your Shoes On with Jeremy, or whatever the hell this show is called. Goodbye. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. That was John Bolton. I guess everybody wants John Bolton to speak now, and he has demands that he wants. That was a weird list, I gotta say. Kind of strange, but I guess we'll see what happens. So impeachment happened. We all know that. So this was sent to me by Lil Green Ghouls over on the Reddit subsection. By the way, I hope everyone is doing well. This is our last stream of the week. We don't do a stream on Friday, so this is our last stream of the week, and it is our second to last stream of 2019. Can you believe that? With exception to the patron stream. Patrons, we still got a couple streams to go, but for the regular streams, this is our second to last one of 2019. The last stream of the year will be on Monday, December 23rd. Our last Music Monday of the year. And then we will be signing out for the year, as I will be going to Hawaii for the holiday, doing the Jimmy Dore show out in Hawaii. And am I saying it right? Is it Hawaii? I think that's how you do it officially, right? Like Hawaii. Am I doing it right? I'm probably doing it even worse. It's probably like, dude, Ron, just stop trying. Just say it. It's kind of strange, you trying to do this. But anyway, so yeah, this is our second to last. It's hard to believe. Time goes so freaking fast. We'll be signing off for the year. We won't be returning until January. And of course, on Monday, I'll announce exactly when we'll be returning in January. We're going to have to alter a time a little bit for one of our January dates because Lucy has her annual vet appointment. Probably shouldn't say that too loud. By this point in her life, there's a good chance she understands the word vet and she knows what that means, and she might be hiding right now. Not a big fan of the vet, my cat. Not a big fan. I always have to request a specific doctor, and the barrier of the doctor I request, did she or did she not draw blood on that person? That's she's the sweetest cat in every, like, she's so social. She loves people. She likes to be pet, but not a big fan of authority. I guess that's a cat thing, and she really hates the vet. She has always really, really hated the vet. She'll hide, she'll hiss, she'll bite, she'll scratch. They make me be in the, I mean, I want to be in the room anyway. I want to be a supportive cat dad, but they make me, they're like, you have to stay in here because she will be slightly less psychotic if she can see and hear you. So you have to talk to her and you have to just be there. One time I had this vet where like, he really insisted that I talked specifically to her. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. She's usually such a well-behaved cat. And he's like, talk to her. And I'm like, okay, Lucy, I don't want to say you're behaving because you're totally not, but all right, you're going to get through this. I'll give you treats when we get home. I don't know what to tell you. You just gotta, I'm sorry. This is for your well-being. I don't like having to take you here. I have to take you here. It's for your health. It's important. By the way, you get the best health care out of anyone in our household, which is true. Lucy has the best health care out of anyone in our household. That's why someone the other day tweeted me and they were just like, well, the NHS is going like, they said the NHS was going downhill and it was like, they made a quip that it's like, it's becoming like it's care for animals. And I was just like, well, gee, that's still here in the United States. That'd be a huge step up. Actually, my cat has the best healthcare. Anyway, this was shared on the Reddit subsection by Lil Green Ghouls 3. Oh yeah, and Lucy's vet appointments in January. Lil Green Ghouls 3 shared this over on the Reddit subsection, which is just reddit.com/r/getyournewsonwithron. And Barack Obama. So we've talked about what Barack Obama has done since leaving office. And none of it's been good. He's been insisting on his library in Chicago, even though it screws the community over, and he's not supporting the community at all. He's actually thumbing his nose at them. He goes around giving speeches for about $500,000 a pop or more and wags his finger at voters. He's popped back into the state of California to endorse people like Dianne Feinstein. Oh, boy. And as far as where he stands in 2020, where does he stand in 2020? Well, anyone but Bernie. He's made that clear. There's been alleged private conversations where he said he will stop Bernie Sanders. What's up, Lucy? You can jump up on my lap if you want. I don't know if you can hear him meowing. So here's another update on that. Here's something he said recently about old white men, or it might have just been old men in general. We'll go to the article and find out. But old men not getting in the way or staying in the way. And that's a problem. They're not getting out of the way. Barack Obama was talking about this. And he wasn't referring to Joe Biden. Spoiler. By the way, don't have a black shirt on. You can kind of see Lucy. Huh? How about those apples? All right. Barack Obama is going after old men, but his real target is Bernie Sanders. This is an opinion piece from The Guardian by Jessa Crispin. All right, so Obama accused old white men in politics of not getting out of the way. The comments seem to be pointed at one old man in particular, Bernie Sanders. All right, so here's the piece. At the latest event in Singapore, Obama announced that women were indisputably better leaders than men. If the whole world was run by women, Obama speculated, you would see a significant improvement across the board on living standards and outcomes, while potentially opening himself up to 1 million hate tweets by Hillary Clinton supporters. I disagree with that, by the way. I think that, Hillary and Obama are pretty much linked at this point. I don't think anyone, I guess there might be some diehard Hillary people that still hold a grudge about 2008, but I don't know. But the comments seem to be pointing at one old white man in particular, Bernie Sanders. Yep. There are 2 old white men. Oh, I like this in the article, by the way. I'm going to read this. This is pretty funny. There are 2 old white men running in the race for the nomination, Sanders and his good old pal, best bud forever, Joe Biden. The billionaires Michael Bloomberg and Tom Steyer don't count here because I'm not convinced they're not both Spider-Man villains. I like that. That's funny. And while Obama's withholding of an official endorsement does seem pointed, that he won't straight up endorse Joe Biden, the more likely target of his continued frustration is Sanders. And by the way, what is Obama frustrated about? Let's remember what Obama is frustrated about, because he's rich beyond comprehension, by the way. Obama has gotten super, super rich since being in office and since leaving it. Dude's set. He is so set. He is as content as this cat on my lap is right now. And this is one happy cat right now. She is purring away. I'm not going to mention the V word again. Not going to say it. It's Starts with a V. There's one letter in the middle, ends with a T. Not going to say it. But it's that time of the year for her. So she's going shortly after the new year. Anyway, so what is he stressed out about? What is his frustration about? Does he really care who wins or loses in 2020? Yeah, he does. But why? Because of his own ego. Because of his own, quote, legacy. He doesn't want the Affordable Care Act. By the way, Mitt Romney's healthcare plan. He doesn't want Mitt Romney's healthcare plan to be dismantled for a single-payer system. Which it wouldn't necessarily be, quote, dismantled. It would just be taken to its completion. You know, the whole point of having a, quote, baby step was that eventually we wanted to get to a universal single-payer system. At least that's what we were told. That's what we were told. Maybe that was never the intention in the first place. Obama wasn't really for single-payer, at least not in 2008 when he got elected. Maybe he was for single-payer before that. Apparently in 2007 he was. But on the campaign trail, he was not. So this is about, which, you know, and Graham Elwood said this, and I agree with it. Like, why don't you just let your legacy be gay marriage? That was an amazing day. We were all celebrating in the streets. That was awesome. Same-sex marriage legalized. That's such a huge societal, amazing moment. Why can't that be your legacy? That's a great legacy for any. Why can't you just hope people just remember that and they don't remember, you know, all the drone strikes or the way you deregulated the housing market or the way you, you know, gave a bailout to the banks and the motor industries, but not any of the people. And, you know, like let that be your legacy. Why does your legacy have to be this healthcare plan that is tragically flawed and leaves 30 million people out in the cold? Why does that have to be your legacy? Why is that a legacy to protect? It isn't. So Obama's proving that what matters most to him is his ego. And that's not the guy that I thought I was voting for in 2008 or 2012. Really isn't. But, and by the way, there's nothing of substance here. It's just an ageist rant. That's all it is. And it is ageist. That is ageist. Why isn't anyone calling Obama out for ageism? All right, so let's see what else he said here. Now, just last month, the article reminds us, just last month it was reported by Politico that Obama had privately spoken about the Vermont senator seeking the Democratic presidential nomination, Bernie Sanders, saying that while he is mostly taking a hands-off approach to the primary, if Sanders started to win, he would speak up to stop him. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Obama's mostly hands-off, unless the guy who actually plans on helping people gets far. If the guy who actually plans on giving everyone health care, who wants to do something about student loan debt, who wants to make college tuition free, you know, all those other programs a lot of other countries take for granted. The guy that wants to do that here in the richest country in the world, and we could pay for it many times over. The guy who's actually speaking up about the Pentagon and war budgets, addressing how it's completely out of control and we need to change our economy of war, that guy. If that guy starts to make gains, Obama's going to stop him. So when he was saying hope and change, really there were a few words he left out where it's like, I hope we don't have to change anything. All right, good job, Obama. Good job, Obama. Old white man. Except really it's just one old white man that I don't like because it could hurt my ego. Great. All right. So Joe shares this. Joe, thank you for sharing this. And this is from a report that the Young Turks did into Pete Buttigieg. All right. So here we go. Check this out. Another Buttigieg donor is blocking secret police tapes. His own. All right, so check this out. 2 months ago, Pete Buttigieg cut ties with the Chicago City lawyer who blocked the release of videotape showing police culpably in the fatal shooting of the 17-year-old LaQuinn McDonald. Buttigieg returned political donations the lawyer had brought in, and his campaign told the New York Times transparency and justice for Laquan McDonald is more important than a campaign contribution. All right, that's the right thing to do. He did the right thing there. But, continuing with the article here, but Buttigieg has also taken money from the law firm now fighting the release of secret South Bend police audio tapes the Young Turks has learned. Unlike the Chicago tapes, these involve Buttigieg himself, and the tape's content could prove politically damaging to him. For years, speculation about the tapes. So what's in these tapes potentially? Speculation about the tapes has focused on whether white police used racist rhetoric, but TYT revealed in September that police allegedly also discussed using Buttigieg donors to get him to oust Daryl Boykins, the city's black police chief. That's according to secret legal documents that Buttigieg's attorneys have had for years. Police in the documents quote Buttigieg during his 2011 campaign as saying that he would remove Boykins. The city is no longer in court blocking the tapes, but a lawyer whose firm has donated to Buttigieg still is. In 2012, 4 officers and 1 spouse sued the city, claiming invasion of privacy and defamation after being illegally recorded by the South Bend Police Department. Dan Pfeiffer, their attorney, got an undisclosed share of the $500,000 settlement that he won from the city in that case. As mayor, Buttigieg signed off on that settlement. Those officers also fought to block the release of the tapes. They lost their court case, but Pfeiffer now represents a new group of officers seeking to block the tapes because he says, I felt morally and ethically obligated to continue to see the case through to the very end. Asked whether he was working for free, Pfeiffer did not dispute it, but he told TYT he views this not as pro bono work, but as a continuation of the case he began years ago. Pfeiffer also said he did not seek out the new group of officers to keep the litigation going. I can't do that. That's unethical, he said. However, because so many people were unknowingly recorded, any number would have standing to challenge the release of the tapes if the current officers lose their legal battle. So in other words, Buttigieg is against non-transparency in law enforcement unless it affects him directly. Because what's potentially in these tapes? Well, police officers using racist rhetoric, which means Pete Buttigieg is complicit with racism in his police force, A. And also, they're saying that they wanted him to oust a black police chief and that his donors could get to him to do it, which means Pete Buttigieg answers first and foremost to his donors, which, by the way, we know that's true about him. We know that is true about Pete Buttigieg. He's made that clear because he takes their money, because he has big dinners with these huge level donors, and then he doesn't disclose them all. First, he wants to disclose none of them. He wants the press barred. Then he gets so much flack for that he's like, okay, I'll open it up. But then he doesn't honestly report all of his donors. And when he's asked point blank if he's going to continue taking that money, he says yes. And he wrote an essay when he was 18 that indicates he knows the choice a politician has. That's what you learn from his essay, by the way. You don't learn that, oh, he used to like Bernie Sanders when he was 18 and he doesn't anymore. Yeah, that's true. But what you really learn from that essay, he understands very well. He did when he was 18. He certainly still does when he's, 37, 38, however old he is. He knows that. You have a choice. You can just take the donor money, get on the fast track, hop on the gravy train and stand for nothing and try to get ahead quick. Or you can take the long road like a Bernie Sanders and stand by your principles and take the wins and losses that comes with it. And you will inevitably have some losses when you're that type of a politician. That's why it's been a long road for Bernie with some victories and some losses along the way too. Those are the choices somebody who runs from public office has. What choice do most people in public office make? They make the first choice. Give me the donor money. I'll shut up. I'll be complicit. I'll do what I'm told and I'll get ahead and I'll enrich myself. And maybe I'll do a positive thing or two, but hey, this is the game. It's not my fault. That's what most people in office choose. Not all, but most. More often than not, that's the choice that is made. That's why our government is not at all for and by the people. So Pete Buttigieg knew the choice he had. He chose the donor route. So yeah, he does report to his donors, and he doesn't want any tapes that'll reveal just how blatant that is. Good report by TYT there. Awesome. Cool. All right. Thank you, Joe, for sharing that. So Andrew Yang released his healthcare plan recently, and it is not Medicare for all. It is actually very far from Medicare for all. And he's not being totally honest about this. He's actually being quite dishonest. Now, you guys know how I feel about Andrew Yang. I have a lot of strong disagreements with the guy. He's certainly not my candidate of choice. But I respect some of his ideas, and I respect him. I think that Andrew Yang is just a principled guy that I disagree with, and a worthy opponent to kind of present the other side. That's why I've said I wish Andrew Yang would have run as a Republican. And when I say that, I don't mean that as an insult to Andrew Yang. I know some Yang fans, they took that as an insult, and I could certainly understand that because, you know, the GOP is a disgusting neo-fascist party, and suggesting somebody should join them is, you know, I get how your first knee-jerk reaction is that's insulting. I totally understand that. But I don't mean it in an insulting way. What I mean it as is, if progressives are trying to infiltrate the Democratic Party, why can't a tech libertarian like Andrew Yang try to infiltrate the Republican Party? Why do we have to just allow what the Republican Party is, allow that to continue unchecked? So that's what I'm getting at. And Andrew Yang's healthcare plan is not very good. And what he's doing in this case is not very honest. And, you know, I really, well, let's get into it first. All right. So Andrew Yang draws contrast with rest of field on his new healthcare plan. Okay. So we'll pause this so it doesn't. All right. So Andrew Yang released his healthcare plan Monday morning, a proposal with elements of Medicare for all, but without the public option plan that even moderate candidates like former Vice President Joe Biden and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg have committed to implementing. Okay, so what parts of Medicare for all does it have? To be clear, I support the spirit of Medicare for all, but swiftly reformatting, this is Yang speaking, swiftly reformatting 18% of our economy and eliminating private insurance for millions of Americans is not a realistic strategy. So we need to provide a new way forward on healthcare for all Americans. Again, this is what they were saying 10 years ago. We need to do it gradually. That's what they were telling us. We had the gradual baby step. That was the Affordable Care Act. Now it's time for full throttle single payer. Will there be a loss of some jobs? Sure. There will also be new jobs in the field. There will be new jobs in the field where you're working for an entity that's not leaving 30 million people out in the cold. And by the way, there will be new jobs in the economy in general because people won't be going bankrupt because of healthcare expenses. They'll have more money in their pocket because the Medicare for all is cheaper. So they'll have more money in their pocket. What does that mean? That means they'll go and spend it. So the jobs argument is just null and void. All right, so now they're talking about what they'll be spending. So what does he plan to do? Okay, his A New Way Forward plan includes pieces already in his competitors' plans, but it differs dramatically in several key ways too. Yang's proposal does not include provisions targeted at expanding insurance coverage. All right, so he's not going to do anything there. All right, so what does it do? It doesn't work to expand the current system. So he wants to lower prescription drug costs. Okay, so that's one thing he's trying to do. His healthcare plan builds on some of the earlier promises to hold pharmaceutical companies accountable by directing the FDA and Department of Justice to work together and bringing criminal cases against pharmaceutical execs who use misleading marketing tactics. That's just lip service. That is next to nothing, by the way. Misleading marketing tactics. First of all, what exactly does that mean? What exactly would they be doing? How do they determine what is a misleading marketing tactic? Okay, the reason that our drugs cost so much in the United States is because of big pharma, because of the insurance companies, and because of processes known as evergreening, where they renew patents by changing something about the drug. So they have this patent for a super long time before any generics or competitors can enter the market. Saying you're going to crack down on misleading marketing does not address any of that stuff. Because, by the way, all this evergreening stuff that they're doing, it's legal. It shouldn't be legal, but it is. So you can't crack down on people when they're not breaking a law. You need to change the law. And according to this, that's not something he plans on doing. So this plan would do nothing to lower drug costs. Okay, Yang also commits to investing in telehealth, information and services given over the phone or internet, noting that the demand for physicians is outpacing the available supply. Okay, I mean, I'm sure there's definitely some room to utilize technology in our health, but you still have to physically go to the doctor once a year. You still have to show up and get, your heartbeat taken and there's only so much you can do online. So again, I feel like this is a small drop in the bucket to actually changing healthcare. His third prong also touches on the demand for doctors and proposes forgiving their student loans and moving them through a fee-for-service system to a salary system. Well, I'm for forgiving all student loan debt, so okay. I mean, I can see that. Let's go directly to his website. All right, so that's ABC's summary. Let's go directly to his website, though. So here's the problem with his website. Look what it still says on top. It still says Medicare for all. It's not Medicare for all. That's being dishonest. He should take that off. It's not Medicare for all. That's misleading. He knows Medicare for all is popular. So he's parroting. And this is the stuff that the other candidates do. All right. So here's what he says on his website. To be clear, I support the spirit of Medicare for all, but not Medicare for all, and have since the first day of this campaign. I do believe, okay, so this is something they quoted in the article. As Democrats, we all believe in healthcare as a human right. We all want to make sure there's universal affordable coverage. Okay. So here's what he says. This means controlling the cost of prescription drugs, investing in innovative technology to cut waste and boost access. This means shifting the incentive structure for providers, shifting our focus to more stages of care. That means revamping what comprehensive care means in the 21st century to include crucial aspects of well-being. So, and here's the thing. He doesn't cut the insurance company out of the equation. That's the big thing. He's not cutting them out. So, once again, this is a worthy opposition. This is an opposition to a progressive approach to healthcare. That's exactly what this is. Is this way better than what Trump and the Republicans came up with the AHCA? Yes, because it's actually trying to make people's lives better. I don't think Andrew Yang has this plan because he wants to be in bed with Big Pharma. I think he has this plan because he genuinely believes this is the best approach. I disagree with him, but this is a worthy discussion to have. I disagree with him because to really fix our healthcare system, you have to cut the for-profit insurance companies out of the equation, period. And you have to ban duplicative coverage the way Medicare for all does. I also think to really combat drug prices, he's right, we need to combat drug prices, but his plan to just sue for misleading marketing, that's going to do absolutely nothing. What we really need to do is change the laws for generics to enter the market. Who has a policy for that? Bernie Sanders does. Andrew Yang does not. So this is a worthy opponent. This is a worthwhile conversation to have. What this isn't is Medicare for all. So it's very dishonest that Yang is still hanging the Medicare for all brand at the top, while then simultaneously saying, well, I'm for the spirit of it, but it's not going to happen. So he needs to clarify on that, and this needs to come off his website. He is not for Medicare for all. He hasn't been for a long time. And he can call it a new way forward. Go ahead and call it that. I mean, he says that in the bottom paragraph here, my full plan for a new way forward, critical of the failings of our system and viable for the past to solve them. And he says, we cannot find the answers to one of the most serious problems in modern American history unless we are asking the right question. It's time we start asking the right questions. I agree. Here's a question that I would ask. Can we have a fully efficient healthcare system where everyone is covered under our current for-profit insurance model? That's a question. My answer to that question is no. Andrew Yang's answer to that question is yes. That's where we differ. That's where I disagree with him full-heartedly. But I'd much rather have that conversation with him than with a GOP lackey who's just totally in bed with Big Pharma and has no plan whatsoever. So, but stop using the Medicare for All banner, Andrew Yang, because that's not what it is. That's being dishonest. And people are drawn to Andrew Yang because he's not your by-the-book politician, because he is an outsider. So, but by hanging the Medicare for All banner, stop doing that, Andrew Yang, because that's not what you stand for. That's not what you're doing. Please change that on your website. All right, so that's Andrew Yang's healthcare plan. I disagree with it strongly. All right, so here's something that was shared over on the Reddit subsection by Mr. Puma Koala. Thank you very much, Mr. Puma Koala. I appreciate it. And, this is one of those situations where I'm going to look into a science story and hopefully going to understand a lot of it and or at least some of it. And I might just geek out about something. We haven't done an alien story in a while. No, I know it's like, Ron, why are you comparing climate change to alien? I'm not. I'm just saying, some of the things that we do when we do science-related stuff and when we do stuff pertaining to extraterrestrial, there's those moments where I'm just sort of geeking out about something. And that's all that's going on. Right, Lucy? She's meowing again. Did somebody say the V word? I didn't. I didn't say the word, Lucy. I didn't say the word. By the way, one of my New Year's resolutions is I'm gonna try to start walking her again. I used to walk her on a regular basis, and I have this harness for her. I'm gonna try again. Past couple times I tried, she wasn't into it. I'm not gonna give up. Anyway, all right. So check this out from Mr. Puma Koala. California's coastal waters are acidifying at double the pace of the rest of the world's ocean. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about here. The more acidic waters, hi Lucy, make life hard for shellfish and raise troubling questions about how the region's marine life will continue to adapt. All right, so what's going on here? The oceans have slowed climate change by absorbing 27% of the carbon dioxide that has been pumped into the atmosphere since 1959. But being a carbon sponge comes at a cost. It makes the ocean more acidic, which is bad for creatures trying to form shells. New research finds that this process is called ocean acidification, and it's moving twice as fast in the productive waters off the coast of California compared to the rest of the world's oceans. The Pacific Ocean off California's coast accounts for around 10% of the United States haul of seafood, but these productive waters are acidifying twice as fast as the rest of the world's ocean, according to new research. That's bad news for anything with a shell. As humans fill the atmosphere with more and more planet-warming carbon dioxide, not only is it heating up the planet with devastating effects on the world's ocean, the gas is also being absorbed by seawater in huge quantities. So here's what happens when this occurs. So as all that carbon dioxide mixes with seawater, it makes the entire ocean more acidic, an effect commonly referred to as ocean acidification. All right, that's fairly easy to grasp. So as carbon dioxide goes into the ocean, it becomes more acidic, and they have named this ocean acidification. They were going to just call it Californication, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers already had the rights to that. So they're like, well, I guess we'll just call it what it is, ocean acidification. So the oceans are now around 30% more acidic than they were before the Industrial Revolution. That's a good throwback. Good job, USA. A more acidic environment is damaging for many marine species, but is especially bad for the ones that form shells. The acidic waters make the chemical building blocks that sea creatures use to form shells in the first place less plentiful and corrode those that do damage to coalesce. The new research analyzed the shell weights of nearly 2,000 fossilized shells from the last 100 years. The researchers found a disturbing 20% reduction in the shells of a tiny group of organisms called, I'm not even going to try, forams. Yeah, I'll do that one. Forams. I could just watch the shells literally getting thinner as I moved up through the record and got closer to the present day. So where are these shell creatures when Donald Trump is speaking and telling us that climate change is just a hoax? Where are they? Why aren't they listening? If only they would listen, then their shells would be fine. If only they were like, oh, wait, I saw this Fox News report, climate change is a hoax. Oh, I heard Chuck Todd on MSNBC saying climate change isn't that big of a deal. He's not convinced on it. My shell's fine. And I can't think of firsthand of anything CNN has done, like blatantly thumbing their nose at climate change, but I'm sure they have. So we'll go ahead and include them too. I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've done some okay reports on it too. Good stuff, falls through the cracks on all the corporate media outlets. But structurally, it's a disaster. And, we talk about that a lot on this show. 30% more acidic than the rest of the world's oceans. And that's the Pacific Ocean, where we get 10% of our seafood here in the United States. So they're absorbing all this carbon dioxide. Yikes. 30% more acidic in California. Man, now I'm going to be, every time I go swimming, I'm going to be thinking about that now. I'm going to be like, oh man, it's 30% more acidic here than everywhere else. I should go swim in the Atlantic more. I got to go to the East Coast more. I guess I got to get there over the summertime now. Anyway, all right. So thank you, Mr. Puma Koala, for sharing that. Thank you very much, Mr. Puma Koala, over on the Reddit subsection, which again is just reddit.com/r/GetYourNewsOnWithRon. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Thursday. Let me see what's going on over on the YouTube chat. Why am I talking like this? This is not a morning DJ show. It'd be cool what if I did that? What if I was just like, what if I did this like I was like a radio DJ announcer? So, are we doomed in our climate? We'll find out at third past the hour. How acidic is the ocean? We'll find out after this commercial break. But first, a word from our sponsor, Titties Gentlemen Club. How acidic is it? Poopy Cakes. What's up, Poopy Cakes? Thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. And Poopy Cakes says, Happy Christmas, Ron. Thank you very much, Poopy Cakes. Happy Christmas to you. Happy holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. Happy day. Jedi Mullet says, if Bernie gets in, he will put Obama's legacy to shame. Shame, 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 ding, ding. That's a reference to Game of Thrones. That was that show on HBO where everybody loved the ending. If you don't remember that. All right. Yeah. A1 and A2 says, do it, Ron, and add this character to your Russian guy. Oh, man. So that might be a new character for 2020. The FM radio guy who talks about heavy issues. All right. I got to write that down. FM radio guy who talks. I'll just write talks heavy issues. 30 million people do not have health care because of our current plan. Can we do better? Find out at half past the hour. Right here on WSKR, we are screwed. WSKR, we are screwed. All right, Jedi Mall, thank you again. Grow offshore kelp. It'll oxygenate water and air plus cool water by shading, not to mention make biofuel from it. Cool. All right. I'm not familiar with that. I'd have to look into it. You have a greater knowledge of this stuff than me, it sounds like. But yeah, you're saying to grow offshore kelp. Not familiar. We'll have to look into it. And thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Poopy Cakes, Jedi Mullet, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Joe, Lil Green Ghouls, Mr. Puma Koala, thank you very much for the articles that we used on today's show. I know some of you guys have already sent me some stuff from Music Monday. We will get to it on Monday. I know I didn't get into everything you guys sent. That's just how it goes. I can't always get to everything, but I get to as much as I can. Please feel free to resend stuff on Monday, where we're going to have our last show of the year. Our last stream of the year is happening on Monday. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, huh? And I'll be making announcements about what the deal for 2020 is, which, speaking of which, here's some 2020 announcements. First of all, tour dates. I got them. What tickets are available now, Ron? Well, I'll tell you. February 8th, Graham Elwood and I will be in Tucson, Arizona. February 29th, San Francisco, California. March 12th, Orlando, Florida. March 14th, Miami, Florida. March 13th, we're working on Tampa or somewhere similar. We're working on it. We should have something confirmed soon. April 10th, I'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. April 24th, Seattle, Washington. April 25th, Portland, Oregon. May 15th, we've just confirmed Detroit, Michigan. And we should also be coming to Cincinnati and Cleveland. We're working on confirming those. May 16th in Cleveland is pretty much confirmed. We just won't have tickets available until after the holiday. But Cleveland, mark your calendars for May 16th. We should be coming at you. All right. June 19th. Louisville, Kentucky is confirmed, and tickets are available now. We should be coming to Nashville on June 20th, and we're working on Atlanta for the 21st. Should have more information on that available very soon. Again, a lot of venues and clubs, they're trying to get through the holiday season. So once we get through that, we'll be able to lock more in. July 11th, Chicago, Illinois. Tickets are available now. July 12th, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tickets are available now. And that's right before the National Convention, which hopefully we're going to be part of. Graham Elwood and I are working on some plans for that. So keep your ear to the ground there. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. For a give what you can level, you get an exclusive patrons-only stream once a week. You get a bunch of stand-up clips not available anywhere else. You get my album in its entirety that you can download. You get dialogues between myself and my cat Lucy before they get illustrated. That's all for a give what you can level. And you help me expand this ship. Next year, we want to start doing mini documentaries. That's what I really want to be the next step for this channel and this show. I want to do mini docs. In addition to these streams aren't going anywhere. But I want to do mini docs in addition, especially around the issue of city-owned internet and municipal broadband. That conversation is finally starting to expand, especially with Bernie Sanders coming out with a plan for universal broadband. I really want to be on the front lines as an information resource for that. But that's going to take editors. That's going to take camera people. That's going to take consultants. That's going to take a lot of people. And I need help to get there. So please, if you are so able, patreon.com/Ron Placone, even $1 a month goes a very, very long way. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be back. Or wait, no, we won't. What am I talking about? We will not be back tomorrow. We'll be back Monday. Tomorrow the podcast drops. Tomorrow's Friday. We will be dropping the podcast on tomorrow. You can get that wherever you get podcasts. Please do leave a review, by the way. Leave a review for the podcast. It's just Get Your News On With Ron, wherever you get your podcast, iTunes or wherever else. And it drops every Friday, and it's a summary of whatever you might have missed this week. All right. A.S. Para, greetings from Canuck, England. Hello, Canuck, England. And if you want to see me in England, by the way, email me. Because 2020, I'm staying stateside. It's an election year. We're going to be touring a bunch in the States. But 2021, I'm touring England and other areas as well. Probably Scotland, maybe Ireland. So if you're in that area and you want to see me, email me. Let me know your town, and we'll see what we can figure out here. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. I will see you guys on Monday for our last stream of the year. There's some patrons-only streams in between then. But our last official stream of the year is Monday for one last Music Monday for 2019. And until then, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. She's right here. She's chilling. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.